Welcome back to the channel. Today we're going to talk about heaters, their design, and their common failure modes. We'll look at two types of heaters in this recording. One a preset 78 degree temperature, and the other an adjustable. Both of these heaters are made by Aquarium. The main part of the heater is its resistive heater core. And then on the upper part of the heater you have its temperature control electronics, either an RTD center or thermostat. Let's take a look at some drawings of heaters. This drawing shows an adjustable temperature Aquarium heater. It has a glass encapsulated tube, two suction cups for holding it onto the side of the tank, and the heater is fully submersible. It includes an indicator lamp, whether the heater element is on, the minimum water line, and the temperature control knob. In the lower part of the housing is a resistive heater core. This produces heat when an electric current is flowing through it. The insulator's job is to keep the heat produced down in the heater core area and away from the temperature sensing of the heater in the upper part of the housing. So as this drawing is shown, the bottom part is the hot part and the upper part is the water temperature part. So with the control electronics at the same temperature of the water, you can see how this works. A switch or RTD will turn on or off as the water temperature changes, controlling the heater core behind the insulator. Most important part of the heater build is the sealed O-ring or silicone housing, which seals the wire and electricity and keeps water outside of the glass tube where everything is sitting in. If water were to get in, well, you can imagine what kind of problems that would cause. The problem with this seal is as it ages, it loses its elasticity and therefore allows some water to penetrate through it in time, normally after about 5 years. What happens when water gets into the housing is it can go down into the heater core area. If water is allowed to get into the heater core area as a liquid, it's then heated up when the heater core turns on and produces steam. When heating water to steam, that produces pressure, and that's why you can see some heaters with the failures where they explode and the glass is broken all over the tank. This is why that occurs. If water gets into the upper part of the housing, this is also bad. It's designed to have air in it, and water is conductive, so if that gets between the switch, which is controlling the temperature, it possibly can turn the heater on all the time, and that creates your other failure modes, which is the overheating event. There are protective devices that help prevent against this, but they're not foolproof. Water isn't designed to be in the housing at all, so you never know what kind of effect it can have if you do get water going into the housing. The other side, what could go wrong if water is in the control housing, is the heater might not turn on at all anymore. This is normally with the microprocessor units that display the temperature of the heater. The second most common failure mode is something going wrong in the control electronics. Normally this is with LCD display type units because they use a microprocessor. The original thermostat or bimetal switch is much more reliable and can handle millions of cycles. Finally, there could be something wrong with the heater core itself, where the wire breaks and the heater no longer heats. But I have yet to see one of these types of failures in my lifetime. How can you combat against these failures? Well, you can periodically, I recommend quarterly, inspect your heaters. If you have a glass type like shown here, you simply unplug it, wait 15 minutes, take it out of the tank, wipe the outside down, and see if you see any sign of water vapor on the inside where the heater core is. If you do, it's time to replace your heater. I don't recommend getting heaters where you can't see inside where the heater core is. There's some that are filled with foam, and they're not easily visible, so you can't see if there's water vapor actually getting inside the heater or not. That's why I don't recommend these. Here, I'm removing the heater carefully for inspection. With it wiped down, cool and dry, I'm looking for signs of any water vapor inside. I'm looking for something that'll look like water droplets on the glass, or it may be a little bit foggy. That would be enough to indicate that the water is starting to get into the heater and it's time to replace it. Here's a foam core filled heater I don't recommend using because it's hard to inspect. You can see you wouldn't have much chance of knowing if there was any water vapor in there at all or not. Well, that's all I have for today on heaters. I hope you enjoyed the video and we'll see you next time.